Yo, what's up, fam? Me and Cypress came out on the trail and thought we'd bring you along. So I figured this is a way for me just to share some longer conversations with you folks and just keep it kind of natural. I figure if I say anything insane, I can just edit it out, which I will. Dude, so this is why I brought you, because I can show you really cool things like this sumac. Wow, how cool is that, huh? Beautiful flower. This thing is like super medicinal and serves like all kinds of great purposes, of which I don't know off the top of my head. That's what I use technology for. But I have to say that I have such an abusive relationship with the technology, because just before I came out on this trail, I was trying to figure some things out with my work and around technology, and I get really wrapped up in some like details of things that are really hard for me to troubleshoot. And then I find myself like stressing out, and then really quickly I start to get really angry with the technology. Like I'll even start to curse out loud, which I did. And then like when people that I care about, my friends and family, ask me for help, tell them to fuck off. And it's so bad. I'm like, dude, you got to understand that that I have to try to stay cool, people. Try, and that's on me. Like that's not anyone's problem but my own. And it's a process of learning how to deal with our more, what would you want to say, just challenging times ahead. You know, it's always going to be, I think, and I'd be good with it without it. And I think that's it, because what I'm searching for is peace in my life. That's what I want. I want it for me. I want it for you as I would want it for me, and I want it for you with or without me. That's a fact. So I think that'll work. That's the plan. I think that's the way forward, the path, so to speak, to find peace, is that you gotta want it first of all. And then you gotta want it not just for yourself, but for others. And then you just gotta want it for the others, man, just straight up. Just as much as you did for yourself. And you know, that's one way of thinking about it. So we're going into this nice little shady grove here. What I'm seeing is a lot of hardwoods, which that's the kind of pinnacle of forest succession. And if you don't know what that means, that's the way that the plant communities shift over time as the forest gets older and wiser. So in a disturbed area, for example, like if there's been a big fire and the trees burn down, you might start to see first like grasses and wildflowers and things like that pop up. Maybe some cornerstone shrub species, small trees, and the roots of trees potentially growing back. And then you'll see like these softwoods start to move in. So those are like your pine trees and a lot of the evergreens. And then from there, it moves into these hardwood trees like the oaks and the maples. And what it is that that's a sign of a forest that's been, you know, preserved and allowed to what we call go through this succession process. And I think what we get from the hardwood forest is kind of distinctly beautiful and unique, as is all of those, you know, microclimates, ecological systems, the grasslands, the softwoods, and the hardwoods. And I think like as humans, we tend to think a lot about what we can take from it. And the truth is, it's got a lot to give. And I think if we have a mutually beneficial relationship, that we are welcome to it. So to me, like my first thoughts and where I am here is this is a wonderful forest to do mushroom identification. And I'm not going to say that it's a good place to forage for mushrooms, because technically that's not really allowed here, because this is like a nature preserve. So I just want to keep it cool in that way, that I think it's like, if you're going to ask for my personal opinion on the matter, I think it's totally acceptable to forage from this space, as long as you know what you're doing and you're going to do it sustainably to make sure and ensure that the mushroom populations that we're interested in aren't damaged, and that if anything, you're promoting the growth of more mushrooms by collecting them, because we spread the spores just like bees spread pollen. And the cool mushrooms that I'd be looking for in this specific park under these specific hardwood trees would be like multiple varieties of chanterelles, and then the real like connoisseur shroom of shrooms that grows in these woods would be the black trumpet. What do they call it? Dead man's trumpet. It's kind of like a chanterelle, but it's black. And they can be super elusive because of that camouflage that they have. So one of the fun things about foraging for mushrooms is it really plays tricks with your eyes, because you have to see what's going on, and you end up looking at the ground all the time. You could get lost, like you could fall off a cliff or something if you're not careful, or run into some wild animals on the trail. Cypress is being so good right now. You guys want to read like a children's story? What do you think? There's one right here. It's called, here, let's see, I'll switch the camera angle. I'm learning how to use this camera properly. Together, a Forest. Oh, okay, we got it back. Here we go. 7:07 on the clock. That's where I'm from, the 7:07. Welcome to the 7:07. Oh my gosh, there's a bug crawling on my lens. Cypress, do you want to read the book with me, Ba? You thought maybe there was something going on down there. Okay, family, here we go. We're focusing now, you know. Kids with ADHD, attention issues, understand. I don't have that, dude. Undiagnosed. Together, a forest. Drawing connections between nature's diversity and our own. Okay, so they wrote this for me. So cool. Together, a forest. Okay, so is this the first page? Yes. Today, a field trip to the forest. An ecosystem is made up of all the living and non-living things in an area. Joy recites to herself. She always pays attention in class. Oh, Joy, what a know-it-all. Miss Khan hands out sketchbooks. The forest is big, she says. So pick one thing for our art project. Choose whatever you feel drawn to. Oh my goodness, you know what I'm drawn to? The diversity at the school. Look, we've got one child back here that's in an awesome spaceship. We've got this kid right here with backpacks. All these backpacks, dude. Different hairstyles. That one's got some freckles, and she's wearing a really beautiful scarf. That's what I noticed. Hell yeah, peeps. All right, let's continue. Here, let me see if I can get myself back in the camera again. I don't know, like this. Whoa, dude, don't look at my... Okay, fine. Here, I'll show you my really cool hiking shoes again. Oh, the camera. Look at my hiking shoes. I got them on. So if you ever, like, want to take it from an expert, dude, these will get me anywhere, even in the snow, fam. That's how solid these sandals are. They're my favorite kind. I just wear them for everything, you know, like otherwise I'm not wearing them. I hate wearing socks. It's just not my bag, baby. I will. When I go skiing, like if I go cross-country skiing, you know, I'll be putting on some socks. Not because it's cold, just for the padding. And also, like, you know, people's feet get sweaty. That's gross, but we shouldn't be ashamed, because I bet everybody's feet will get sweaty if they don't wear socks and they go skiing. So check this out. Next page, fam. We're at the next spot, so come with me. Let's remember Joy. Joy takes in the wild all around her. How will she know the right thing to choose? Hakim starts exploring right away, just like Salal, whose zigzagging branches wander the forest floor, zinging into bright pink and white flowers. Hakim's mind zigzags too, between curiosities, noticings, and juicy new discoveries. Oh my gosh, dude, this guy's using zigzags like me. No, he's too young for that, dude. I get Irie on the trail. That's not for the kids. This is, like I said, this is for us adults. I ask if you wanted a kid's story. It's okay. We don't have to believe in an inner child in order to just be a little immature every once in a while. Ben wants to wrap himself up in moss like a blanket. Little stems and leaves sponge up moisture from the air and hold on to mist, like memories to be shared later, just like Ben's super sponge memory that absorbs every fact about dinosaurs. Ben loves dinosaurs. Dude, oh my God, he's using his imagination. This one's zigzagging Hakim, and Ben's over here just dreaming it up. Whoa, what is Sasha doing? Sasha pauses from walking with her white cane. She's a savage, dude. She's a wizard. To listen to the birds. Their calls sound different as they move behind branches or farther away, and the trees and plants create sound shadows. It all helps her to understand her surroundings. She presses record and wonders, what are they saying? Dude, Sasha has superpower hearing. That's so rad. And she has a white cane. She's like a wizard stick. You know what I'm saying? You feel me, family? All right. And for real though, like that is so cool. This storybook about like not expressing things that might make somebody like a, let's just say like in a little smaller group than the mainstream, to not feel like that's a disability, dude, no matter what that is, dude. If you got some, you ain't able to use your eyeballs, but your ears are hella good, we all know what happens, dude. People figure it out. They say that all the sense media is unreal anyways, dude. There are no eyeballs or ears, you know, like not beyond the veil of this creation we share. So while we're here, we bounce. It's a little balancing act. It ain't about somebody being better or worse, right? Cypress, we keep it positive on the trail. I'm just letting this guy totally chillax. Like normally I'd be like, Cypress, come on, let's stay on track, dude. We gotta go. But we're not here to be that way. We're here to take our time, fam, and see what's going on. See what is going on. Cypress smells another dog, and he's doing this little, like really intense little smell, and kind of he gives it a little, and kind of tastes the smell a little bit, just to see like if it's something he's really into. I think most of the time he's into it, dude. He's just like trying to make sure he remembers. Let me see if I can. I'm still learning the camera tricks. Still learning the camera tricks, my friends. So this is a cool little stream bank that I'm entering into, and I've oftentimes like taken moments to sit here and look for fossils. So here I'll show you the way, and see if we can't just dig up a quick fossil here. Oh, wrong way. See, dude, it's a good thing I'm not a pilot, because I'd be flying you guys all over into the whatchamacallits, the mountains. Okay, let's look for fossils. So here we go. There's some fossil action. I don't know what to tell you about the fossils, but if my buddy Jim was here, man, that guy would tell you more than you need to know. What's up, Jim? I hope you're listening. You can never learn enough about fossils. I'm just kidding. But Jim knows that he is a maniac when it comes to his knowledge of fossils. You have to pay attention, is what Jim taught me, is like, there's these ones that you might see them and be like, oh, like, dude, do you see that? This one is coming to Jim. Whoa, fam, there's something really cool on here. I don't know if you can see it, because like some of this fossil action, it's like, it's really kind of hard to see. But what I was just going to say is, you don't look for this like traditional signs so much. let me just try to find you like a fossil where you would definitely go like, oh yeah, that's a fossil. Dude. These are, I'm looking for these like, almost look like feathers. Yeah, what Jim had taught me is like, you don't look for, see these markings? You don't, and see that like groove? Dude, this has almost like a fin on it. People, there's all kinds of things happening when we pay attention. I swear to God. I swear to God. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Let me see. Can you see that? Those fossils with like the clear little deviated lines. That's a very common fossil. Oh, here's an example. There's an example, my friends. See how cool that is? I know you can see that one. So this is like really cool, but also really obvious. The ones that Jim has taught me to look for are much less than obvious. And isn't that just kind of the nature of life? Less than obvious, dude. That's the good stuff. Hold up a second. Hold on. Try to get this thing leveled out again. Boom. There we are. I swear I'll get it better, people. Okay, so there's some minnows in this little pond right here, and I was kind of thinking like, what if we try putting the camera underwater? I think it's capable of that. Hey, what's up, dude? You just went in the freaking little puddle. How was it? How was it, fam? It's probably not great, but it was a good try using this thing. Here, let me wipe your face off. There you go. Now you're all better. Ah, Stiper's gonna pull me into the stream. Dude, I hope that when we look at that video together that we can, you know, I didn't do a great job following those little minnows around, but I kind of did. Let me get your face one more time. You know, it's possible that some water got like in there, huh? Is that better? Okay. It's the first time that I've dunked it. You guys got to go dunking with me the first time. That's fun. I think that these little trail walks could be cool for me because, you know, part of how I was feeling today is, I'll tell you, I'm like starving Marvin right now. I need to eat something. And my digestive system's been a little funny, so I was like thinking, should I go get food? I was kind of thinking about going out to get some food. And I was like, dude, let's just go hiking first, you know? And we can eat something. I think I'm going to try to eat something that's like gluten-free and vegan, like a real weirdo, because, and also much love to my weirdos, dude. You know that being weird is cool. So, and also being gluten and free and vegan's not really weird at all anymore, you know, especially in these parts where those people tend to exist. Like, I just think I want to try it. I try being vegan a lot. I don't always think about being gluten-free, but I just figured, why not? Why not give that a try? So here's the next page on our book, fams. Here we go, hold up. All right, where are we at here? Angel can't find the colored pencil she needs from her collection. Caught up in the moment, she often forgets or misplaces things. Dude, what is wrong with her? Squirrel might not always remember where he buries his seeds come wintertime, but he gathers so many that he plants much more than he needs. This way he'll still have enough to eat, and some will grow into trees. There it is. Angel remembers how much she likes drawing fluffy stuff. Angel is cool. Lichens remind Sophia of bursts of electricity, like what makes her power wheelchair zoom. Lichens thrive because at least two beings work together, fungi and algae. Dude, Sophia's getting into the real stuff. I dig that. She reminds me of Nausicaa, like in her basement, just like figuring out how to grow shrooms and plants together. That's, I mean, you figure that out, dude, you might be onto something to help save the world. I'm working on it. Dude, been working on it for 30 years or more. Okay, fungi give lichens their shape, while algae make food from the sun. Sophia's life is full of teamwork and helping too. Dude, Sophia's like us all in that way, but she's thinking about it in a beautiful way. Alex hears a buzz whiz by their ear. Bee is thrilled to visit her flower neighbors. She zooms through the air from one flower friend to the next. Alex never wants to stop moving either. Like they have a motor. They want to visit all of their friends. Alex is cool, you know, he's like a social butterfly. They, them, her. Alex, you know, we got to think about the pronouns because obviously this is a book about diversity. So using gender neutral pronouns, even with the name Alex, would be totally appropriate, my friends. And also, how cool is vitiligo, bro? I've got some friends with it, dude. And it's so trippy, man. Like our skin and melanin and how it can change. Really change our appearance, you know? I guess the thing to acknowledge with all of those things is that they have been kind of deemed as, like, you know, vitiligo is not a disability, but I'll tell you, you got a lot of people be looking at you funny, like as if something went wrong with your skin. And I think that's like the really important lesson of that book isn't to wash over those uncomfortable feelings, but to sit with those things and figure them out. Like, is that really an agreement that we want to make out here? Is that if somebody's got a skin condition that makes them have multiple colors of skin, changing or whatever, any kind of skin, dude. Even if, you know, some of us have sensitive skin and that's all. Just like maybe you get like different types of infections and stuff like that, man. You could imagine like people looking at you like all funny just because you had like something going on with your skin, whether it was uncomfortable or not. I don't know why I talked about it, probably because I was thinking about it. And that's part of this thing, like, I don't always know what to say, and like sometimes I'll just start filling it in with like just random stuff, because, you know, I like the silence, but I also like to break it. And if I'm going to be on here talking to you people, then I'd prefer it not to be silent, dude. That ain't the point. Maybe someday we'll do a silent one, dude. See how you like that. Misha has found mushrooms below the ground surface. They sent out tiny threads, mycelium, to join. Oh, I went too far, guys. Don't forget about that. We were not there yet. The creek is thrumming after a big rain. In drier times, it will be shallow, slow, or still. Akash feels like the changing stream with emotions that can be big, crashing, and even overflow. Other times, he might feel more low, quiet, or steady. It all flows onto his page. Dude, I'm just like Akash Creek. For real. Dude, I'm like all these kids. Diva feels the wind from the waterfall move through her body, shimmering into her happy dancing hands. Ferns flutter in the mist, joining her excitement. Dude, she's grooving. Check out her merch. Dude, she's got multiple arms, bro. She's Bodhisattva. That girl figured something out. And the ferns, dude, by the waterfall. All right, then. Now we know which way to go. The ways she moves her body, like jumping, clapping, rocking, and humming, help her feel just right. Joy feels all wrong. Everyone else is choosing, but she has no idea what she feels drawn to. How is she supposed to know? What? What happened? Everyone else is choosing, but she has no idea what she feels drawn to. How is she supposed to know? Dude, Number 13, if you have to ask, you'll never know, Joy. Your name says it all, bro. She's supposed to know, dude. And she doesn't. Oh, I'm not laughing at Joy, okay? I'm laughing with her. And I would know just what to do to cheer Joy up. It's that I'd choose for her, dude. Why not? And just be like, Joy, if you want to do something, come and hang out with me. You don't have to choose. I'll show you a good time. You know, and if she wanted to just sit there or whatever and be choosy, then that's cool too. And then I'd just be like, peace, homie. Have a good time figuring it out. Nisha has found mushrooms below the ground surface. They send out tiny... Wow, there's a flying squirrel or something jumping through branches. Nisha has found mushrooms below the ground surface. They send out tiny threads mycelium to join with other roots and create a giant web. The web helps plants get all the nutrition from the soil, share food with one another, and communicate like they're talking on the phone. Yeah, we'd be learning a lot more about the mycelium these days, right, fam? I think that's almost common knowledge now. I worked in doing habitat restoration work, and there's a company called Reforestation Technology Institute or some industry, RTI. They were like the big researchers, I would say, in the beginning of us using that, understanding it for forestry. And then I think, you know, forever, people who grow fruit, heavy setting fruit, you know, annuals, we know about the mycelium. And that stuff was sold like snake oil at one point. I remember, I think there was a product by Advanced Nutrients called Piranha or something, man, and that thing was like $100 for like an ounce of it. And you know, that's the unfortunate events that unfold when you make TV shows like, what was that show called? Little boxes, little boxes, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, and they all made out of boxes, and they all look just the same. Little boxes. And yeah, that was a show about a really funny business that we got going on where people sell products like Advanced Nutrients for way too much money, and then they try to make it look cool on a TV show. And then everybody goes, dude, maybe if I got the Advanced Nutrients, I'd figure it out too. How to be crazy like this soccer mom. All right. Okay, so here we go. Kids' stories back again. All right. Nisha wants everyone to be okay, and she can feel when things are unfair. She loves that when she is with others, they can make up a web of caring too. Yeah, fam, let's keep it there, you know what I'm saying? Whatever I was talking about, Advanced Nutrients, that's not very advanced, dude. Nisha is talking about something that's much more advanced, which is not about talking trash on these big businesses and the destruction of our cottage industry, but it's really just to like get down with like the holistic and wholesome qualities of the forest and the mushrooms, the web that connects us, of life, gardening. We're gonna be okay, fam. Look at that redwood tree, dude. Of course we're gonna be okay, you know? Gotta know your roots. Whoa, it's more of it. Oh, it's a cedar, fam. That's like, we got some Lebanon energy in the house. Sacred tree from Lebanon. The curving lines of giant cedars bark to tell a story written over 1,000 years. Giant cedar is in no rush, living in a slower kind of time. Expansive and patient. Adam also makes sense of the world in a slower rhythm, and his thoughts need plenty of time and space. Underground, giant cedar's roots join with the mycelium and other tree kin. Adam loves being part of his community. Yeah, man, it's hella important to just understand that our processing speeds are a lot of times different than others, and if you give certain people space and time to process thoughts, like, you might be really impressed by the the type of information that we have to share with each other on different rhythms, you know, but they come together. It's that moment on the trail where I think I might be lost. Not like literally, more like figuratively. You know, I think it's my hunger still kind of setting in, these little hunger pings. And then it's like I get anxious or I get pushy, and like if Cypress is taking its time or whatever, I feel like going, come on, let's go. And then I gotta be like, dude, settle down. Settle down, dude. I don't talk to myself like that. That's ridiculous. I'm only doing that for you guys to see like my thought process. It doesn't really matter, does it? It's just crazy either way. I don't think I am saying anything too crazy on this trip, so I think I'm just gonna leave it all in, but we'll see. Come on, Sipper, let's go, buddy. Let's go, buddy. He loves the smells of everything, and if I'm taking my time and just talking, I think he really enjoys that because I'm not rushing him. Ooh, something buzzed on me there. I don't know what that meant, but I think it's okay. Maybe it meant that the camera's getting a little bit hot. We'll see how far we can get. This might be the last page or one of the last pages of our book. Tree frog appears still, but her glossy skin is busy absorbing water from the air and might even change from green to brown. It depends on her senses and how light, dark, cool, warm, dry, or wet her surroundings are. Amir has keen senses too. Sound, touch, and how things feel on his skin can be intense. He loves when light twinkles gently through leaves, but other times light can feel harsh. So like sensory, you know, like sensory sensitive folks, it seemed like it's like you can both like really enjoy these senses and then also just be really sensed by the just how overwhelming it can be. Lucas, swept up in spinning thoughts and memories, stops when he notices turkey tail. The fungi are breaking down dead wood and becoming vibrant works of art. As he draws, his thoughts and worries find their way onto the paper. He can imagine beautiful new colors and forms too. Dude, Lucas is kind of inspiring me right now, fam. Your boy might actually go home and paint some turkey tails. Not even gonna lie. That might be a thing, like, and that's when we just like allow life to unfold like origami sheets, you know? We fold them up, we unfold them, and then back again, you know? New sheets, new designs. We don't have to keep folding the same paper over and over again. Once we're done with one project, it's okay to move on to the next one. That's what I think about repetition and stuff like that. It's not my cup of tea. I just do it because it's necessary, like taking steps on a trail. But that's just from my creative approach, which is that, you know, I actually don't enjoy repetition. I practice it as a tool to create diversity. I think that's what I'm doing. And I really like breaking free from repetition, I would say. That's sort of like when you get into something like, you know, I'm not a rhythm guy, so to speak. What I like is just like letting things change, like whether it's the rhythm, the sound, the sensation, just allowing change to me is nice. But I would have to say being centered in happiness, peace, and well-being, that's the root of it, where I just want everything to be tethered there. And I think I'm starting to get closer to that, especially when it comes to dealing with challenging things. But also I think even with like being elated, I'm starting to just be like, okay, even when I'm feeling like the, you know, that swell of positive energy and ecstasy, even like starting to flow, it's like keeping it tethered in happiness, peace, and wanting an end of suffering, I think really draws it into like a really nice middle place that can kind of keep you tethered in life. Those three things, I've been thinking about them a lot lately in my practice. My meditation practice, all my creative projects. I've been threading into those things with like essentially just the mantra. Like when you're cooking with love, what I'm saying in the recipe of my work is I want happiness, I want peace, and I want an end of suffering. And I want happiness for others as I want it for myself, and I want peace for others as I want it for myself, and I want an end to suffering for others as I want it for myself, and I want happiness for others, and I want peace for others, and I want to end the suffering for others. And it's just been something that I was taught last week. It's a translation from a Tibetan teaching, and I was thinking about, just non-duality, working on processing pain and suffering, in accepting non-duality. I believe there's a gateway or a portal into receiving pure happiness, peace, and an end to suffering. So it's about opening that door, which may be to the heart, So here's our more pages, fam. Let's see what we got. Nisha says something to Alex, who zooms off to tell the others. Are you feeling okay? Do you want to squeeze? She shakes her head no. Joy does, and it helps. Remember, slow breaths. She exhales slowly. I can take your bag. Of course, we're a team. Thanks. Okay, so just helpfulness, helping others. Can you dig? At the picnic table, Ben has dry clothes waiting for her. He's always prepared. Did you know that dinosaurs are the ancestors of birds? She didn't, but the fact makes her smile. After she changes, she sits in the warm spot Amir has saved for her to dry off. Nisha has gathered hodgepodge for her lunch, made up of everyone's extras. Tasty. That's nice. But on the bus, Sasha plays her recording of bird songs. What do you think dinosaurs sounded like? Probably tweet, tweet, chomp, chomp. Manuel's hands bite into Joy's shoulders like teeth. In class, inspired by Lucas and Akasha's drawings, Joy draws her flower from memory. That's so pretty. Miss Khan agrees. I think your flower is an orchid. Their seeds start out so tiny that they don't have any food stored. Fungi living nearby help them grow by sharing nutrition, and when the orchid gets bigger, they give back food to the fungi. Orchids need just the right conditions, so when they bloom, it's a good sign for the whole ecosystem. Dude, that's what's up, fam. I love orchids, and I've never been the greatest orchid cultivator. I gotta just be honest with you, I've killed many of orchids. But I have a very dear friend of mine that's an incredible orchid green thumb. So if I ever need help in that department, I'm sure that she would give me the proper instruction. I think for her, it's like she became an expert on growing orchids. And I'm kind of like, I can't choose. I'm like the little girl that can't choose. I don't have a favorite. And if I did, I think that you know what it is, and we're not going to talk about that. So that's kind of, I would say that that's a little bit sad, but we're working on talking about it more in a way that feels safe. That's what I think. That's what I want. I don't necessarily vibe anymore with the whole like rebel, force. I'd prefer to just be like, remember happy, peace, and the end of suffering. I think me and my flowers deserve to just be in that space. That's what I think. And the more I can share that in a safe way, then I would feel much better and safer in my life. I've been following a Roz MacLean priest recently that was, what would you say, recommended to me from a friend of mine who's been teaching me some really amazing things about astrology and astronomy, and how things have gotten, like, from especially the Western tradition, it's of our zodiac and everything, is just the timing is all off, man. So you can look up, like, on a free app that's I think called Planetarium. You can just plug in your birthday and time, and it'll show you the skyline at that time, and then you can look at where all the planets were. And I was a little intimidated at first because I'm just not that guy, like, that knows much about the stuff. And I'd always just kind of, like, stuck to my Western one, because the Vedic one, it kind of, like, threw me for a loop, and I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. So this new thing from this Honorable Priest Isaac has taught me just to let go of that. Let go of the fears. And there's a purpose for the Western when it relates to a specific event and what it's locked into that. So that's not the way that the cosmos work. They're not locked into specific events. It's shifting. So it's really fun, I think, to look at that information. And yeah, I have no clue why I brought that up. Maybe because I was getting a little irie in the mind talking about my flowers. So here we go, fam. More pages. Joy thinks of all the help she has gotten from another ecosystem. Her classmates. Her heart feels full. She can feel how much she counts on them. So that's so cool. She's seeing, like, her classmates as a reflection of the ecosystem. So cool, so true. Our classes. Nutrients from soil to plant. Dude, I'm not going to read all their notes, fam. Their notes are cool, but I'm not going to read them all. How much they all count on each other. So it just shows everybody's thing, right? I think we get it. It's a bit much for me to read all those little notes, fam. I think it's more like you just want to kind of look at it. Together, they are all right. Word, fam. All kinds of minds. Our brains do so much. They think, take on information, remember, plan, and send signals to our bodies. Our brains are why we can see, hear, feel things like heat and cold, move our bodies and communicate, along with many other things. I'm getting bit by an insect, fam. Give me a second. I was, like, itchy there, and I'm, like, trying to make like I don't have a bug biting me so I can keep reading. Diversity means difference or variety within a group. Neurodiversity means that rather than our minds and ways of thinking all being the same, there's a lot of difference between us. No two minds are alike. Some ways of being different or neurodivergent include autism, ADHD, sensory processing differences, learning disabilities like dyslexia, intellectual disabilities, dyspraxia, and mental health diagnoses. There are also many others. We wouldn't think all plants, animals, or insects should be the same as one another, right? It also wouldn't make sense to expect every person to be the same as one another. There is no one right way for a mind, body, or person to be. In the same way that diversity in the natural world creates thriving ecosystems, our human communities are better when there is a place for everyone. Dude, I can't even tell you how much I agree with that story. I love the connection, dude. That's, like, so me. Like, to just be threading together the forest, the ecosystem, our communities, things like neurodiversity, which in that description right there, I mean, isn't everybody neurodivergent then if we're all not the same? You know? I guess in my opinion, everyone has some neurodivergence. That's the story in my book. So I see we're drawing up on a special time of, like, 44 or so. Fam, I think I'm going to call it right here. I'm just going to stop on the trail for 1 second. I'm going to give you a few seconds just to say goodbye to the forest and our friend, you know, Cypress. We had a wonderful adventure with you. Peace, fam.